Okay, we're just here at just a little bit north of North Scale. Going to try and canoe in the channel. North is the village. I'll just pop it somewhere out of the road. Stand it up in the bushes so we don't get trod on. North Scale, called Scala, if I pronounce that correctly, from the Norse. North set, pop it. Can you grab it? Take it away. Okay. Okay. And this van is rigged out very Spartan-like, as you will see, and I must do a video on it sometime. But the reason for its Spartan outfit is this: bikes, canoes, and all that sort of thing going on. So you don't want richly embroidered seat cushions and soft furnishings everywhere, do you? There, two otters side by side, ready to play in the stream. That's the cross rail for supporting the canoes. Let's just get some kit out. Just leave it down the back in there, hatch bag. I suppose dry clothes can stop in there, can't they? Won't need them unless we have a spill. And there's life jackets. What else was in there? Dry bags. There, okay, we'll get set up and come back.
What do you ask? Because yours is on the outside.
Okay. Okie dokie. I'll just walk these down to the water's edge. Right, can you see the ground all right? Well, watch for doo-doos. I'm going to walk over this bit here. There's just been a lot of rain yesterday, that's why it's so puddly up here.
Last one night never stopped, did it?
Yeah, torrential. You okay, pop it?
Yep.
There's a doo-doo on my left.
Right.
You don't want that in your canoe, on your wellies. There might be one I've just stepped over. It's trodden, but can you see it? There's a lot of dog walker action around here. Which can spoil the day if you don't keep your eyes peeled. Alright, just leave it there. I'll get the other one. Okay. Go wide. Wide, wide, wide. Yep. Go in there, go in there. Eyes down. Give me the tip off if you see one. Go and lock up the van and go and lock up the van. So it's a bit windy today, westerly 19 miles per hour. Westerly, it's coming across the island, so we're hoping that if we keep on the lee shore of Walney, we won't get too much wind band. On the far side you would, because you'd be clear of the lee then. Alright, how does that feel? Pop it. Good to be on the water. I know, but I've just switched the camera on, so I want to catch it again. Cut, take two. So as I said earlier, we're at North Scale, just north of North Scale, Scala, the old Norse name. The tide's currently coming in. We've got about an hour of incoming tide, and we'll have an hour and a half beyond high water to get back in, so we'll be alright. We could have got here with being a bit earlier, and we could have met the tide lower down, but that's fine. We just had to get everything organised this morning, canoes in the van and all the kit. Poppet's got waterproof sunglasses on. And did you bring your waterproof sun cream?
No, I think I have.
Probably just as well, because even if it was waterproof, it might not have been salt waterproof sun cream. You know, ah, funny.
No.
So the tide's come up and covered them now, but you see that little notch in the slag banks? That used to be where Cocken Tunnel was, and Cocken Tunnel was built in order to preserve the footpath that came down from Ormskill and Hawcote down to the channel, because there is a ford under here. I mean, it's not built or anything, it's just a low water passing, and it's called Cocken Cross. And when the slag banks began to develop, they obviously built the tunnel so they could tip the slag banks over it, because once upon a time the slag banks were just a continuous plateau. And over there, of course, where the college is now and everything, that was the Barrow Haematite Iron and Steel Company. There was ironworks, steelworks, and then beyond where Asda is, there was the hoop and wire works. And of course all that was kicking off around about 1860s, when it went full pelt. Actually started a little bit earlier, 56, 57, 1856, 57, but just for ease of memory, let's call it 1860, and finally closed circa 1960. So there was a whole century, a century's worth of slag deposition on those banks over there. Now just look at the shoreline. We're moving quite fast because the tide is coming through this way. And that's always the best way to do it, of course. If you've got natural elements working with you, then you make better progress than if you were fighting it all the way. We might get a bit more wind when these bushes run out.
Getting there now.
Phew. And further along at the end of the slag banks, of course, is Palace Nook. Oh, I suppose I should say at this point, shouldn't I? Done a bit of iron and steel works history, and if I can work out how to do it, I'll put the little link up at the top of the video round about here. And then of course there's the upturned pillboxes and Palace Nook. That's another little video, I'll put that up as well. Link above in the right hand corner somewhere. Here we are, like mangrove swamps with the roots undermined. I wonder if there's any alligators and pythons. What do you reckon, Poppet?
No.
No. Oh, come on, keep the excitement up. I think there could be alligators and pythons, so we'll have to watch out.
I'm going back then.
No, this is alright, isn't it, Poppet? Poppet's like a moorhen. She loves being on water, don't you? You do. She gets her little flippers out and starts paddling. Now, because it's windy today, quite windy, we're stopping in the lee. The wind's coming across the top of these bushes, and you can see just a little bit further out, the water's just a little bit more roiled, and on the other side, it'll be a bit more roily and choppy still, perhaps. And ahead of us now we've got the North Walney dunes, and then, as you'll know, there's an outlet into the Duddon Channel called Scarf Bight, which goes round the end of Walney, between the end of Walney and Lousy Point, and communicates with the Duddon Channel and the main sea, if you like. We won't be going that far, and nor should we, because when the tide it goes out, it can belt through Scarf Bight, and if we were down it or along it, we'd have a fight to get back into it until the water is dead low, by which time all this will be dry, high and dry, like the Red Sea crossing. I'm sure I saw an alligator just then. I'm sure I saw an alligator, Poppet. You keep going and make it snappy. You see where that pathway comes down? The whole of the slag bank was bridged across, and there was a tunnel there. And as I recall, it was still extant when I first moved up to this area in the 80s and maybe up to the early 90s. You know, it was a creepy, sort of gloomy, drippy tunnel, but made large. You know, you could drive a car down it, kind of thing, if it wasn't boulder strewn underfoot. Large sandstone blocks, as I recall, probably with brick facing on the portals. But so you could just go straight through the slag bank, if you like. And I always think it's a great shame it's no longer there, because it was part of the industrial heritage of the area. Why did they build the tunnel? Because of the slag banks. They built the slag banks. What did they need? A tunnel to go through it, so they did not impede the right-of-way across Cock and Cross, or as it's called on the 1873 OS maps, High Ford. A bit lower down there was Middle Ford, and then lower down still, and anyone local might have seen at low water, there's a sort of little bridge or footway structure, footbridge. That was Low Ford, and we might do a video of doing the crossings sometime as a bit of a Red Sea adventure. Sorry?
The steps.
That's what I was talking about.
Oh, right.
Yeah, the footbridge didn't. Oh, you meant the footpath there, didn't you? Yeah, yeah.
And the sign.
Yes, yeah.
It's the Cumbrian. What's it called? The Cumbrian
Coastal path?
path, yeah.
Yeah. Are you as snug as a little beaver in your otter? I've got an otter as well. Poppet's got the Otter Deluxe. I've found out recently. She always has to upstage me. And I think it is the same body mould and combing, but she's got a folding seat, which is handy actually, because you can flip the back of the seat down and whack some stowage. Oh, sorry, Poppet.
I'm going to talk, yeah.
So you can whack some gear in the back, you know, in dry bags. And for when you're stacking it on the roof rack or in the van, like we do, you can fold the back of the seat down so it doesn't interfere with the next canoe on top, kind of thing. Whereas mine's got a rigid seat and it's always projecting above the combing. I'll do a review of these otters sometime. What we like about them is a huge great cockpit, so you don't have to worry about a tight little skimpy cockpit where you've got to learn to do that Eskimo roll thing. With such a large combing, I think it's 38 inches or something like that. Hey, there was something just plopped down there. A fish, probably. Yeah. And another, did you see it? Just in front of me. I'm chasing a mullet or something. With such a large combing, of course, you know, if you did roll the canoe over, you'd just flop out. There's no way you get trapped inside and need to kick yourself free or anything. You can hear the wind in the bushes, can't you? And I'm just going to put my nose in that little creek. I love creeking. I know it's only a midget of a creek. I'm going to go Crocodile Dundee and check for alligators. Alright, sport. This ain't going to go very far, I can tell, but oh, it's a little land drain. That's what it is. No alligators. Did you want to try a paddle swap for whatever?
I'm just going to fiddle around. Yeah, this does feel heavy.
Okay, I'll let you have a go with this one if you want. Do you want to have a swap over? Just for a few minutes or for the rest of the day if you want. You keep there, stop still, stop still. I'll come to you. Collision at sea. Okay, you got it? Alright, I'll just push you off, or push me off.
Right, that's fine. Oh, that feels so much better.
Oh, well, there you go.
Make a lightweight one.
Yep. And what about the length, you know, just for... I'm not really sure, but if it feels okay, it's okay. If it doesn't, it's not, kind of thing. Oh, I'm getting a bit of wind now, so my audio on the camera will start going spoofy.
That feels so much better, Dad.
You like that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that feel heavy, that one?
It does, and that one's got a bit of curvature to the blade, where these blades are dead straight, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's got a bit of scooping. If you look down the blade,
There.
the actual end bit, yeah, you can see it's cupped.
Yeah.
So although it's smaller, it still captures the water pretty good. We'll be into the wind a bit more now because the the hedge line peels away. We can do a little bit of creek exploring before the tide drops away, if you want. Do a bit of creeking before the tide drops away. See how as the hedge line peels away, the water becomes more roiled because it's getting more wind exposure. And like I say, on the other side you might actually get little wavelets, which are no big problem, but it's just easier to do stuff on the lee shore where you're not fighting a wind as well. On another day, if you had an easterly wind, you could do it on the other side, you know. Still getting used to this paddle because Poppet usually uses this one, but now she's well, it's a paddle, it's okay. It is, yeah. Yeah, well, we want to get some of those then, don't we, or at least another one. It's going to get a bit tight, Poppet, so I'll have to do some reversing. You okay with that?
It's a bit awkward.
Yeah. In tight little streamlets like this, you could do with almost having a single blade. Yes, if you had one that split in half, it could then become a T-handled single paddle, couldn't it? Yeah, I don't think we'll turn around in here. Pardon? I can maybe turn around backing into that one. You okay, Poppet? Up the Zambezi, or up the Limpopo River. I will turn around in there, look, that'll be alright. Good little bay to back into. Oh look, seagulls. Silly me, flamingos. Flamingos. Yeah, so we can turn around in here. I'll show you how, and then I'll... No, you're alright, I'll move forward, I'll show you how, and then I'll back down. Yeah. So you can then go in. Or you can go in forwards or backwards, whichever one you prefer. No, I'll back down that leg then while you do it. Just back off a tiny bit, I'll just need to swing my nose round in there. Okay.
Oh, you're going that way, right?
Yeah, just to give you space. Oh, I've got ominous clouds coming, I hope they blow over. Yeah. start scrabbling along, crabbing. Well, I could tell right from the start it's going to be a little ginnel, but sometimes these creeks can be bigger and much more fascinating.
Yeah.
You know, quite broad little waterways in their own right, which you can only get to when the tide's up. But, you know, it just makes it a nice estuarine meander. And a little bit of a slalom course. And it's all good fun. Oh yeah, I bumped into something there on the way up. You're on the post. You should have gone to Canoe Savers. Back off and then just take a slightly different course. There's a thumping great post you're right on.
I wonder what I've landed on.
Good lord.
Right, there I'm off now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can see it now, but you can't see it there in front of you. Yeah.
Yeah, you can just see it there, look.
Going in the bush. Hang on.
Yeah, so the tide today was 1306 high water, 8.73 according to the tide table predictions, and I think it said 8.8 on the old Barrow Tides app thingy. So 8.7, 8.8 at 106, and I haven't adjusted my watch for British summertime because it will come right in the winter, so that's 12:34 right now. And look at Lousy Point, looks like a tropical atoll in the sunshine. Yeah, now we'll leave that one, it'll be another little tiddler. On the tropical atoll of Lousy Point there are pineapples, coconuts and a Malibu beach bar. Are you having fun, Puppet? Fighting into the wind now. Oh, a little squall from those clouds. That's what it is. Getting squally. And it can blow your bow about a bit, you know. Give it some grunt, lass. If we're lucky, we'll go up one little gimlet and come out of another, but I don't know for sure. Keep it powered up, otherwise the wind will soon veer you off. Just keep some way on her, so you've got steerage. Keep her going, keep her going. Once you idle, you get veered round. Nice little S bend, look at this. Excellent. Ah, you creek bound. We might ground out here. Might be a bit shallow. It's just floating stuff. Yeah, I think we can make the Northwest Passage. I can see it communicating. Oh. Wonder if I just go over that. Yeah, a little bit. I should have gone round it, but I thought it might just skip across. And you can do this on a rising tide, because you always know that there's another 6 inches of water yet to come in, which will float you off if you get fast somewhere, you know. But yeah, we'll come out of another creek. That'll be fun, won't it? I'll just berth up here for a minute and wait for Poppet. Now I know that it's a goer. She's fighting. I think I'll put my waterproofs on actually. At least the top. There, just ground out there. Get back. That's the wind catching it, sailing it round. Jacket. Okay, hope my camera's still rolling. After all that, hope my camera's still rolling. Just leaving it as I continue in a minute. Yeah, communicate to the main channel. Actually, I'll just have a swig of juice. I'm thirsty. Blinking wind. So, stuff that needs to be kept dry in a dry bag, stuff that doesn't need to be kept dry, like your bottle of pop, in just any old other bag, to keep it from rolling around your feet. Let's get this show on the road. Oh, wind's blowing me on. Get off. Okay. Poppet's off adventuring. Good on her. Good job you got your waterproof sunglasses. Okay. Yep. We'll go up this little broader estuary. And then when we come back, we'll have done a little round trip coming back to the main channel, because we came up a little feeder there. destroyer gunboat coming up fast on the port beam. Yeah, right into wind. Mission is attack enemy gunboat base. Flotilla full ahead. Oh, those clouds, look at them. The weather said 6% chance of rain, which I thought meant, as it usually does, very unlikely. See the waves now, because there's a little bit of fetch down this waterway, just chopping up a little bit. Get out of this hoolie. Oh, a bit of power. Poppet will be wafting about, I expect. I'll have to wipe my lens in a minute when I've got out of that broad reach. Get in the lee of this bush. Oh, I can see a bit of a lighter fringe behind this dull grey cloud, so it might soon stop. Whew. Yeah. Oh, she's not doing so bad. That's what happens when you don't have waterproof sunglasses.
Need some windscreen wipers.
Yeah. Ah, just out of the wind a bit here. Ah. Oh well. Ah. It'd be brightening. I better wipe the old camera lens, hadn't I? A load of droplets all over it. God, yeah. Sorry, it'll be a bit smeary this video, but if I just get a tissue out, that'll be soaked in seconds, so I'll just do it with my fingers. Whew. What's the time, Poppet?
Just gonna have a quick look, hang on. It's nearly 5 to 1.
Oh, it's nearly high water.
What time was high water? 10 minutes past.
Yeah, thereabouts. That doesn't mean we have to rush back. Oh, fuck me. Oh, jeez. That came from nowhere. Jeez. I said it was brightening. Oh, dear God. So it won't last long, it'll just be seconds, but there it is, it's probably over now. Bloody hell. That's probably done with now. Slightly different time of year, that would be hailstones when it was colder, you know. Oh, here we are then. It's just turned to murk. We just had a frantic little rain shower which blew over in about 40 seconds. I was just scrabbling for my rain trousers, but and then it went. So, shame it wasn't a sunnier day. But behind me, you can see there's a paler fringe to the cloud, so I think it's going to brighten up a bit and be less ominous, which will be good. Yeah, I've got my pandemic hairstyle going on. Haven't seen a haircutter for 6 months or more. Oh, here comes a little bit more of a splatter. Not to worry. And it's very murky over there at Ormsgill now. You can't even see, well, yes you can. You can see the shore. But it's just murk at the moment. Poppet ahoy! She's lurking in the reeds. Marvellous. Bless her. Oh, I think I can feel it just brightening a tiny little wee bit, which will be good. Let's hope that little squall is out of the way now. Right here in the lee, it's just like a placid waterway, but you can see it just getting a bit roiled up just beyond where Poppet is, as the wind starts to fetch it up. Aye, Poppet's in explorer mode, so there's no stopping her now. And there's those flamingos again. Oh, there's still a broody bit there, isn't there? A clear bit and a broody bit. It can't all be sunshine and ice creams, can it? And it doesn't matter. It's all part of the joys. Yeah, it'll be about the top of the tide now, so we'll have a bit of leeway up this channel because it'll be a deep one. But you know, if you're coming half an hour later or an hour later up here, you'd then have to consider perhaps being left high and dry and dragging the canoe back to the water as it recedes. Ah, yeah. And a squall to come with it. That's usually the way. Get a windy squall. Oh, dearie, dearie, dearie me. A bit of a fight into a headwind, isn't it? When it squalls up like that suddenly, you know, like maybe 25 miles an hour or something. I want to wipe my camera lens, but I don't want to lose headway while I'm in this wind. Bear with me. Bear with me. If I get into a bit of lee, I can just flick the drips off. Here we are, Flamingo Island, a tropical paradise. Just makes it more interesting, doesn't it, with all these little ginnels and inlets. Yeah, just takes you off the main broad waterway, which is good fun as well, but it's just broad and stuff. And here we are, we feel like explorers trying to discover the source of the Great Limpopo River.
What's the TV?
Yep. Where there might be hippopotami.
I just felt something on the bottom.
No, it's just the nose of my canoe. I think it was just clonking your. Just go up there. What's that? An old kitchen sink, or is it a bit? It's a wreck of a boat. Here we go. The lost wreck of the Mary Rose. Her last resting place, shipmates. Yeah. Poor thing. I'm just coming in alongside. Hey, look at that, yeah. Now, do you remember that scene in Jaws?
Oh my god, don't do that.
Where, what's the name of that actor? I can't remember his name. But he dives down, and then there's this, is it like a corpse floats through the hole in the hull?
Yeah.
And you know, because that's what's happened here. Obviously, the big white shark attacked the boat, chewed a hole in it, then it started to sink. I think Poppet's getting spooked now by my fantasy tale.
Can't even turn around yet.
But this has obviously ended up drifting up here on a storm where it broke its moorings, I'm guessing. And then the winds and the high tide carried it up the creek or across the marsh on a good 10 metre tide, say.
Sorry.
What are you doing now?
I'm trying to get round, but I can't.
Well, just go backwards until you can. Yeah, it doesn't always fit to turn around. Or do you think it'll work?
It might do if you... No. It's not going to work. It's not working.
Just back off, buddy. Back off.
Yeah, you might be able to do it now.
Okay.
Hang on, stop there a minute. Whee, I'm getting there.
Okie dokie.
Slowly.
Will she go? Or are you just going to be stuck there till the water drops? Bridging the channel. Oh.
Yeah, I might be able to do it now. No, it's still not wide enough.
Just go backwards until you can. What a fuss. Ah, no, it's good for you for trying.
Oh, I'm trying to get round, so I don't have to paddle backwards.
Just give it a shot. It's all good experience. Go backwards. You'll have to do it quite often.
I might be able to do it now.
I'll just give it a go myself. Yeah, I can get round here. Oh no, you can't.
I can't.
No, it's just yeah. If you go back to that point there, you'll get round. Aye, shipwreck. That was worth it, wasn't it? Good on you, Poppet, for coming up here. No, it's still a bit tight, isn't it?
Following that one or not?
Let me just have a look at it. No, I think we should follow the main channel now because the tide's past its peak. Oh, just on high water it is now. So we don't want to get left high and dry up a little creek where you can't turn round or... So let's get the fleet out of here. There's a bit of hint of bright sky up there. If only it would come across and just bonny up the surroundings. That'll get here in the end. I think we need to go round to the right to keep to the main channel.
Down here.
Yep. No, to the right.
Oh my god, I'm gonna...
Pull hard with your left. And, yep. And again. There you are, good on you. Okay mate, just having a little lie down. And then round to the left. We went up to the right before just to lie up in that little creek end. And we came up through that one straight ahead, you see. So we'll do a little round circular trip by coming up that one and going back out to the channel on this one. It's like a little maze, isn't it? A little maze of waterways. A labyrinth. Hiya mate. We're disturbing your peace. We'll soon be gone. Poppet's got a camo top on, so she blends in. She looks like a wild gamer. Oh, more blinking rain. Deary golly gosh. Ugh. Good lord. Ah. So it's clear up there at Black Coombe, and it's clear down there. It's clear up there at Black Coombe, and it's clear and bright down there, sort of like maybe at Sheep Island or thereabouts. And we've just got the blinking, the shirty corridor in between of rain and cloud. Doesn't it matter? It's all good. There's the airport control tower. Walney Airport. Come on, clouds, give us a wee break. It looks like I've finished all the way around now, so 10 minutes time I think we'll be out of this murk. Then I can have a rest from wiping the camera lens. I feel a bit of undulation in the water now.
Yeah.
Just that little nodding sensation. These little wavelets. There's a bit of blue sky to seaward. Bluish anyway. A bit lumpier here because we've got a fetch of water. I think I can hear the sea battering the other side of Walney. Pretty sure that's what I can hear. About 5 feet deep here at the moment. This all dries of course at low water. Mussel beds and sand. pushing me off dead quick. Look at it. It's at about 1.5 knots or something. You won't see it on this camera, but I can see one of the upturned pillboxes there, and Palace Nook is just beyond that white buoy which is floating in the middle. What time is it now? I'm just asking myself. It's 1:30. And get the sense that the water's beginning to pour off the marsh now. We've gone past the height of the tide. I think we went up that one, explored up to the wreck of the boat, and then came back down that channel there.
That seagull was flying over here.
I know, I wish I had the camera going at just that moment.
And then I thought, I thought it was going to swoop down on here.
Yeah, it was having a... yeah, it did. It was having a good look at me. No, we're heading straight up. Yep. Well, I'll get back to the van before that pesky sunshine comes out and ruins everything. Because that'll be the last straw if the sun comes out and we're on the floating water. Yeah, just not having that. It would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We've got a beam wind at the moment. Once we get back to that hedge line, the mangroves will be all tranquil and still again. That should be nice. Oh no!
The sun's coming out.
Oh no, quick! Get back to the van! We only do this in the rain. Yeah, we'll come again. And hopefully if it's a sunny day, because all this looks like a tropical lagoon on a still and bonny day. The blueness, you know, it just looks and the sand dunes will glint down there. I can see that white buoy. We were alongside that. Can you see the white buoy?
In the middle.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're now back into the lee of these hedges, which just makes it more of a relaxed jobby instead of fighting with a beam wind all the way. Oh! Fish in water. Fish in water. It swirled up. It was an alligator poppet. Or a hippopotamus. Probably a skate or a mullet, I don't know. But they suddenly get startled if they see a yellow hull cruising across the top of them. They get the wind up. Yeah, now I don't know how many tons of slag that all amounts to. Bearing in mind that a lot of it has been, or some of it has been excavated for use in roadstone and all that kind of thing. Let's say 20 years ago or 25 that was an ongoing activity. But I suppose if I could estimate its height, I can't see anyone walking along the top to give me a guide, but should we say it's 50 metres high? If I see a person walking on top, I'll be able to judge it better, because there'll be 2 metres and times it by how many other times it can get that height into the slag bank. So if you works on the premise that it was X high, Y long, let's say 1.5 kilometres, but I'll look at the map, and Z wide, 100 metres, 200 metres, whatever it is, I'll look at the map. Might be able to approximate how many cubic metres it all amounts to, which would be a starting point, and then I'd need to know the specific gravity of slag. Let's just guess it was 3 or 4, because some of it's quite aerated, like pumice, but other bits are like glass, vitreous. So yeah, maybe specific gravity 4, and then I'd times that many cubic metres by that specific gravity 4, let's say, and we'd have an estimation of however many thousands, maybe, perhaps not, maybe hundreds of thousands of tonnes. And if I can work out how to do that, I might put those figures up on the screen here, just as a baseline guess, or approximate. A guesstimation. And even though we came up with the incoming tide, so that was helping us upstream, the tide is going out now, but because there's an outlet up there at Scarf Bight, the tide is still coming upstream, as it were, so we're now fighting against a tidal current. And that will continue to happen until the summit of the mussel beds on the high ford, the Cock and Cross, remember? Until that becomes dry, the tide will continue to go northwards. So our progress here is a little bit hampered by the upstream current. I can touch bottom with my paddle, it's only about 1.5 foot deep here. But on the other hand, we keep close to shore, the current stream will be less. So it's getting the best of the circumstances. Yeah, so out in midstream there might be a 3 or 4 knot current sweeping us up to Lousy Point, but here by the shore it might just be 1 knot, say, or 1.5. Yeah, there's those steps that Poppet was mentioning earlier. I've never been up there actually, or come down it. And the signs look quite new on the steps, don't they? Stone steps. So maybe that's a recent development, turning it from a slippy, muddy bank into a more accessible pathway. Whew. Back to the mangroves. Pass us your paddle. Okay, pull on it, yep. Draw as big, otherwise you'll be left without a paddle halfway up the creek. Yep. Okay. Yeah, this feels lighter and better to grip because it's got a smaller diameter shaft, and the paddle shape it just bites the water better. It cups it and it's got better propulsion and everything. There's Walney Bridge. But of course those fords I was talking about, they hail back to the time before there was even a ferry, let alone any bridges linking Walney Island to the mainland. So going to market, going to see the blacksmith at Dalton or whatever, because Dalton would have been the main market then. You know, taking any produce to market or going to market to buy some produce for a Walney resident would have entailed crossing the fords at low water, you see. Back in the day, up until when was the ferry first commissioned? Probably about, I'm only guessing now because I haven't researched this, but let's say the first ferry might have been 1840s, 1850s, and then the bigger ferry that operated to the ferry inn on what is now the slipway, the launch slipway. That would have been lasted for a while, and then they built the Jubilee Bridge, of course, and then the ferry more or less ended then. But because the bridge was I think it was a penny toll to begin with, until the Barrow Corporation bought it and made it free to all. Before that point it was a penny toll, and many people would have said, oh, I'll just wait for low tide and save myself a penny, or a halfpenny, whatever it was. Maybe it was a farthing, you know. And of course before, oh, getting a bit of wind again, before the days of trams, buses or general transport, if you lived at North Scale and you wanted to go to Dalton, instead of walking all the way down there to the bridge and then having to walk all this way back up this side up to Hawcourt and Dalton, just came straight across the Cock and Cross. There was no deviation. You know, it was on the line of travel that you wanted. Or a big day out at Ulverston, say, you know. Yeah, just get a sense of the tide flowing by there, can't you? It's flowing upstream towards Lowesley Point. And because the land's just necked out of it here, we're just feeling the flow a bit more. There you are, you can see the flow, the velocity wash there on that static boat. So we'll just get inshore a bit more out of the flow. Again, I can't see any figures walking up there to give me an idea of scale, but you know, would viewers give me an estimation of 50 metres high? That's 150 feet, roughly speaking. If so, that's a basis for estimation of quantity surveying, I suppose you'd call it, wouldn't you? Yeah, if it was 50 metres, we'd want approximately 25 human figures stacked up. Keep fairly close inshore and you'll be more out of the current flow, which you're fighting against. Oh, Puppet's struggling. When the tide was high, that hull filled with water, and now as the tide's dropping, it's letting go again. Through the bunghole, or probably the bilge overflow that's rusted away inside. Phew. Are you struggling, Poppet?
I was just getting stuck by the side because it was getting too...
Bit shallow.
Yeah, so through the puddle.
Yeah. If you come in backwards, it's easier to get out of the seat because you're facing downhill rather than uphill. Do you know what I mean? Ah, there's some people on the skyline of the slag heap. Oh yeah, not that way. So, yeah, would you say there's 25 of those? If not there, certainly over there. It's a start, isn't it? Yeah, you've got wellies on, you just step out into the water, that's alright. That's what they're for. Aye, we're out of the wind now. And there's little bits of blue sky. Just too late for us as it happens today, but I'll just wipe my lens. Yeah, some people on top.
Yeah.
You hear the water gushing out of that hull because the water's falling away now. Oh, that's been good, hasn't it? Get back on the water. The otters, like I say, I or we will do a review of the otters sometime as a canoe.
Oh, you can do it.
Okay. So worth talking about. Quite beamy, but stable. You know, they're not twitchy.
Until you go like that.
Well, unless you do something untoward, yes. Aye. Oh. Yeah, I'll just use your paddle as a standing pole while you get out. Just give you a bit more stability and purchase. Whichever side you prefer. Yes. That'll do. We'll carry them from there when we've had our lunch and all set. Okay. Watch your footing as you come back for doggy doos. Alright, do you want to go in the lead?
Can do if you want.
Yep. Okay, pop it. Keep your eyes peeled.